When did you realize your friends were actually fake friends? Whenever we were supposed to hang out, something came up and that something was hanging out with other mutual friends. Yes, my best friend in high school used to do this to me all the time. On Wednesday, I'd ask if she wanted to see a movie Friday night. She'd always say maybe, if I can get out of doing whatever with my parents. Come Monday, I'd hear her talking about how great the movie was. Apparently, last minute her parents said she didn't have to go, and miraculously a group of people called right then and asked her to see the same movie. She'd always say, I figured you made other plans, when I confronted her about it. In reality, she'd just wait to see what the better option was and pick on Friday. God, that pissed me off. I had a friend that actually admitted that was the true intentions with the maybe colon. When I was in school, all my friends and I did different levels. Despite us all having different lessons to each other, they would wait for each other to go to lunch together, but they would always forget me. Like, I'd come out and they wouldn't be there. So I'd have lunch by myself, and then they'd come back and tell me they thought I was with them. I was the only one they didn't wait for. I've only seen one of them since we left school. She had forgotten my name. So that sucked. That happened to me. One time my friends all sat at a lunch table that was full and I was sat on one that was completely empty, and so I asked them to come sit by me and they said no. Those people suck. When my phone got stolen and I lost their phone numbers, mine stayed the same, but we just never talked again. When my Apple account got compromised and I lost my backup, when I changed phones I lost all of my numbers. I haven't gotten a text or call from any of my friends since. That was 5 years ago. My phone number hasn't changed in decades. No one seems to have it for some reason. Oh no, I think I might have fake relatives. That's a painful one. When they stopped contacting me when I stopped drinking. I feel this. Used to have countless friends. Went out all the time. Lost control of myself and quit. Friends stopped calling. Now I'm a weird eccentric who hangs out in the woods in all my free time. Things are better this way. I have a couple friends who stuck around in the girl of my dreams. That's all I need. When you stop going to the bar, you no longer exist to those who live that life. It messed with my head for a while, but I get it now. I was invited to the bachelorette party for one of the friends in this group. While at the party, I figured out that I was the only person not invited to the wedding. I had been invited to the party because they needed another person to chip in for expenses. What kind of human scum does that? It's amazing what people will do to get what they want, because they deserve a perfect wedding experience. My ex did that shoot. Would boggle my mind every time. She'd plan an event for 12 people and then invite everyone she wanted there. If anyone wasn't available or would bail, she'd start inviting people she wouldn't want to hang out with. She'd rather invite people she didn't like than scaling back the event. Something similar happened to me. There was a minimum group rate for 16 and they needed a 16th person, and then the night before I was told the event was cancelled. What actually happened is one of their friends who previously could not make it suddenly could go, so they invited him and dumped me. When I went through a divorce and was down to $700, most difficult period, and we did out all those who friended me for my generosity, because I was well settled. Started over and have liked to true good friends. To real friends is better than 100 fake friends. Hope you're doing well. Quality over quantity. After my divorce, we were couples friends, not individually. My wife and I separated and she got the majority of our friends. Almost nobody checked in on me to see how I was doing. Then we decided to work it out and stay together, and now there's a whole list of people's birthdays I don't have to remember. That's an inspiring sentence. Now there's a whole list of people's birthdays I don't have to remember. Thanks. Okay, hand. If you got back together and probably didn't hate each other that much, why did the friends take sides? It wasn't a food where people needed to choose a side. When we were apart, they would invite her places and make plans with her, but never me. I had a birthday and nobody reached out, but they planned a whole thing for her. For example, it turns out the people I thought were my friends are actually my wife's friends and I'm just her plus one. If it makes you feel any better, this is super common among married guys. One friend stopped replying to my texts right after we graduated from college, like the same week we graduated. So, I was pretty much just a study buddy that they kept close to keep me helping them. This is basically all of the friends I made at various points in college. As soon as we don't see each other 3x a week, they fade away. I get they're busy, but I didn't realize making lasting friendships as an adult would be so difficult. It is so hard to make friends as an adult. I moved to a new city about a year and a half ago and still have 0 friends. This one girl was just trying to be friends with me, but only because she wants someone to emotionally dump on. Other than that, I've had a couple friend dates to meet people and they usually just stop texting back. I feel like most adults already have their friend group, and it is almost impossible to get into those. Same thing happened to me. Was friends with so many people during college, and the last 3 weeks was an unpaid work placement which we had to go back to the school to hand in our paperwork. Not one of them spoke to me or would even answer me if I said something to them. Became clear that I was only valuable to them when I was helping them. Class awards had me down as most willing to help classmates. Most willing to help classmates. This is literally a label which gets a lot of friends, because it always attracts people. It can be a problem, because you are always questioning every person you befriend. It is almost like you have to be extra careful, because you are kind and helpful. Such is the world we are in now. The only positive of this is that you can quickly identify fake friends, because they drift away without giving a frick while the real ones stay. Finding out they have an inner circle group chat, but I'm the only one not in it. Something similar happened to me. We were all set to go enjoy music at a local establishment. I talked to multiple people from the group, confirming meeting time. I got there and no one else was there. Eventually they all showed up together. Found out they had been out all day together shopping, drinking, and I was the only one not clued into that part. I had been looking forward to the night, but ended up feeling lower than I had ever felt. Once high school ended, I heard about all the rumors they made up about me. The group made plans to meet and hang out. I was getting ready in the salon. A couple of friends had to back out for some reason. The other friend then made excuses of his own, and I could tell. I tried cajoling him and offer ways for him to go, but he basically decided to cancel the entire group meetup. It was my birthday. Same thing happened to me on my 21st birthday. All my friends made up excuses why they couldn't come. Then the 3 friends that did met some guys and we went back to their house and awkwardly sat around. Happened again for my 25th birthday. I had moved across the country and found new friends, but they all bailed at the last minute. I called my roommate at the time who came out when he got off work, and he called some of his friends who came out, and I had the best night ever. Those guys are now my real friends, and I married that roommate. This is extremely heartwarming after reading this thread. Congrats. I wouldn't say I have fake friends, but I am definitely the periphery friend. The majority of the time, if there isn't enough tickets or space in the car for everyone to go do something, I'm the one who gets got out. It doesn't bother me much, but I wish they would be more mindful when talking to me about things we have done. Remember when we went to see XXX? Wasn't that fun? Well, no, because I wasn't invited. In those situations it usually gets awkward, or they say, hey, we would have invited you if we had the tickets, space, etc. This was quite a few years ago. My ex and I were really friendly with another couple, did a ton of stuff together, then they moved, not far, and fairly shortly after my ex and I separated. They hung out with me for a few months, but then stopped calling. A few years later, I ran into both of them at a race, an ultra marathon, and they both pretended like they didn't know me. That was actually a really painful moment. I just posted something similar. When I was married, we were in a friend group with 3 other couples on our street. My ex cheated and we divorced. The group kept inviting both of us to the same events because they didn't want to pick sides. I moved out of the neighborhood and realized they were proximity friends, not real friends. That hurt a lot. I've actually come to accept that proximity friends are still a type of friend. A friend for life is a rare thing, and it's okay that not every friend you ever make will last forever. Some friends will only be with you because they don't want to be alone. As soon as something better comes along, you become less important. When I realized I was the one always calling, then I stopped and friends disappeared. I only have one exception to this rule, as I know my friend is a reactive texter and he's got a lot on his mind at all times. PTSD, anxiety, depression and such. I check in on him regularly and I don't mind him being AWOL for a while. He's come through for me and he's a good man. The rest can frick off. I am that kind of person, and you are a good friend. When they ghosted me after 17 years of close friendship, I still have no idea what I did wrong, and for extra salt in the wound, it was right after I spent a week eating instant noodles, because I donated every cent I had to one of them for her cancer treatment GoFundMe. Hurt more than any relationship breakup. Is there a GoFundMe option? The first step is to give the friend cancer. I feel your pain. My closest friend of 10 years sent me a text saying I don't do enough for her and she has other friends. She sent that the night before an MRI for my brain tumor. That was 4 years ago and it still stings. Oh. And she lives down the street from me. I stopped smoking weed and they stopped coming round. This is a lesson that every smoker learns after a while. Some friends are only friends that you smoke with. A good rule of thumb is to do things together where you're not smoking. If that works, then you are probably real friends and not just together for smoking. I have a friend who I once did practically nothing sober with. We always drank and or smoked pot. He landed himself in some trouble with a DUI and did an enormous life 180. He has been 100% sober off of everything for about 2 years now and we're all extremely proud of what he's done in that time. Instead of smoking pot and drinking, we chose to do outdoor hobbies and work out instead. Our friendship survived the end of getting drunk high together and it makes me super happy.